David, how likely is it that Donald Trump will declare martial law at some point in his presidency, either to avoid being impeached and removed, or if he loses in 2020, to avoid relinquishing the White House, or in advance of the 2020 election to justify not having the election altogether? All right. So three different scenarios where this emailer wonders if Donald Trump will apply martial law, declare martial law. Here's the reality. It's extremely unlikely. It is extremely. So martial law is a suspension, effectively, of the normal law enforcement infrastructure of the country, replaced by the military taking control of domestic law enforcement. Now, on a federal level, only the president has the power to impose martial law. And this all goes back to limitations on martial law that exist thanks to court decisions, which were established between the Civil War and World War II. So, for example, in 1878, Congress passed the Posse Comitatus Act, which forbids military involvement in domestic law enforcement without congressional approval. And that ultimately may be what is the deciding factor here. Even if we attribute absolutely the worst intentions to Donald Trump, which include that in an act of desperation, where he's about to get convicted on impeachment, or he's about to lose the election, or he has lost the election and it's almost time for him to go. The idea is, in an act of desperation, he will declare martial law. Strictly speaking, you need congressional approval in order to declare martial law based on the Posse Comitatus Act. So I think the better question is, would Trump try to put in place martial law? Maybe, although I still doubt it. But if he did, who's in control of the House and Senate at the time, and would they allow it? And this is why, once again, we talk about the 2018 midterms and Democrats taking over control of the House. Now they have the investigative power of the House. Now we have impeachment hearings. Now we are potentially heading in the direction of a trial, of an impeachment trial. This is why this stuff matters. And this is why taking over the Senate, and although it's an uphill battle in 2020 or maybe in 2022, that's why this stuff really matters. I believe that there is no question Donald Trump will make the case that because of some unfair treatment, either in the context of the impeachment inquiry or the election or whatever, Trump will make the case that he didn't really lose, or that someone cheated, or that this was rigged, or that was rigged, or the other thing. I think it is less likely that he will actually try to declare martial law. And I think it is almost an impossibility that he would be able to get away with it. But things have happened for the first time before. I mean, think about other times martial law has been declared in the United States. It's very limited. I think after Pearl Harbor was bombed, martial law was declared. If I have my history correct, I almost don't want to say it, but I think that was related to the internment camps of Japanese Americans. But the instances in which martial law was declared are extraordinarily limited. And the idea that a House and Senate would allow, particularly one not controlled by Trump's party, that the House and Senate would allow Trump to declare martial law because he thinks the election against him was unfair, that the election that went against him was unfair, seems extremely unlikely. But I'm willing to have my mind changed.